So I remember one time when I was in my church youth group, they're like, hey kids, we need to earn a whole bunch of money for the church. So we're gonna have a rockathon. And I was a dumb little kid, I was like, rockathon? Fuck yeah, man, let's have a rockathon. That sounds awesome. What is that? Is that where you like rock out to cool rock music and somehow the rocking glorifies Jesus Christ? Nope. Apparently a rockathon is where you actually rock in rocket chairs inside of the church the entire night. I shit you not, we were dorky motherfuckers, man. They made us rock in rocking chairs the entire fucking night. We were exhausted rocking these rocket chairs. I was such a fucking dork, man. I don't know why I got myself involved in that. But they promised us, man. They said, hey, if you guys keep doing these charity drives, I promise you someday we're gonna take the entire youth group to Disneyland. And Disneyland was like the holy grail, man. Us little kids would do anything for Disneyland. So we worked our ass off to try to earn this trip to Disneyland. So a couple weeks later, they were like, hey, the church needs some more money. We're gonna have a bike-a-thon. We're gonna take all you kids and we're gonna make you con your friends and family into sponsoring you and agreeing to give you guys a couple dollars every mile you ride, and then you give that money to the church. Because Jesus really wants you guys to ride a fucking bike for some reason. But I can tell you right up front, Jesus didn't seem to give a shit about us. Because that day the winds were 30 to 40 miles an hour. It was like a fucking hurricane out there. But did our greedy church cancel? Oh hell no, they had all the kids out there with their bikes and they were gonna get their money's worth. So they had us riding in this fucking tornado weather. For the first 10 miles of our trek, we could only go like 2 miles an hour. You could barely even pedal against the wind. It was like trying to ride a bike in about 2 feet of water. That shit was so fucking hard. After the first 10 miles, we were so fucking exhausted, none of us could barely move, man. It was hell on earth. But the good news is, on the way back, we had the wind behind us. So we were able to go like 50 miles a fucking hour on those bikes, man. And to be honest with you, I'm kind of competitive. I started to see the whole thing as a race. I wanted to finish the motherfucker first. So I like took off, man. I was like way in front of everybody. And I guess the preacher's daughter had a little crush on me. And she was trying to keep up with me, man. So she fucking rode up next to me and we were all like miles and miles ahead of fucking everybody. We were tearing that course up. And then her dad, who was following the whole bunch of kids in his truck, got really pissed off that we were so far ahead. So he pulled around the kids and he drove miles down the road. He caught up with us and he basically forced us off the fucking road. And he got out and he started yelling at me, telling me this wasn't a race. We were all doing this for Jesus and he did not appreciate me taking his daughter off. But I was like, chill out, preacher douche. I'm not interested in your dumpy daughter. I just want to win the fucking race. But he held us all back and made sure everybody else caught up with us. So I had to ride with the whole group the rest of the way. But then we got like a mile away and I was like, fuck this. And I just took off, man. I was pedaling my little ass off that last mile. I was like, I'm gonna win this shit. I'm gonna win this shit. But then there was this other guy there who had a way better bike than I did. He had this fucking smooth ass 10-speed bike, all his gears and shit. And he just switched in another fucking gear and just effortlessly pedaled past my ass. And no matter how hard I pumped my little fucking legs, I couldn't catch up with that motherfucker and he won. And then later that night, and this never happens to me, this is the only single time it happened to me in my entire teenage years, but I was fucking so exhausted I wet the bed, man. I pissed all over myself, man. I woke up and pedaled my own piss. I was like, thanks, Jesus. Not only did you not let me win the race, but I gotta wake up and a fucking pool of my own piss here. I'm out here trying to earn money for you, and this is the best you can do me? You know, as a Lord and Savior, you kinda suck at this. So then a couple weeks later, they're like, hey kids, you haven't earned enough money for the church yet. Let's get a bunch of fresh blood to come in this church. So let's have a puppet show and invite a bunch of kids. So they made us go around all the blocks around the church and hand out these flyers for the puppet show. They had this terrifying ass ventriloquist dummy, and they made us put on this play for kids with it, because nothing packs the kids in the stands like fucking terrifying ventriloquist dummies. So of course, they made me play the ventriloquist dummy. They had me crouched down behind a wall, fucking controlling and talking for this dummy. And there's this one scene where the dummy supposedly goes to sleep and he has a dream that he goes to heaven. So the plan was, when the dummy goes to sleep, they're going to turn all the lights out in the church. And my 11-year-old cousin Jamie and the preacher were supposed to take these big standing candelabras that had these candles all over them. They were supposed to take them from the back of the church to the front of the church, so then the lights would come on and you would see the candelabras over there. And because the candelabra was there, you would know the dummy was having a dream about heaven. So the dummy goes to sleep, the lights go out, and my little cousin Jamie and the preacher go get the candelabras in the back of the church, and then all I hear is a big collision. Boom! They run into each other in the dark because they can't see shit. Fucking candles start spilling everywhere. They fall off the candelabras and they're all over the floor. And then I hear my cousin Jamie go, oh shit, I'm sorry. And the preacher was like, just pick them up, man, just pick them up. So they're all scrambling on the floor in the total fucking dark, can't see shit, trying to find all these candles and fit them back in the candelabras. Meanwhile, the entire church is pitch fucking black, filled to the brim with a bunch of children who have just been terrified by a ventriloquist dummy. So needless to say, man, most of those kids didn't fucking come back at all. And I gotta say, once again, Jesus didn't help us wear a shat. He didn't help us wear a shat. So anyway, The youth group earned so much money for the church. We did charity drive after charity drive after charity drive. We finally said, when are you guys going to take us to Disneyland? And that's when the preacher's wife sat us all down and told us, we talked it over, me and the preacher last night, and he prayed about it, and God told him he does not want you guys going to Disneyland. That's what the fuck they told us. God didn't want us to go to Disneyland, man. That's why we earned all that fucking money. We worked our ass off. Now God wants to renege on his part of the deal. Oh, fuck that shit. We were pissed. But they were like, yeah, don't worry, kids. I tell you what, instead, we're going to take you guys to Liberty Land. And Liberty Land was this really shitty amusement park in Memphis, Tennessee. In fact, it's so shitty and dangerous now that motherfuckers closed. It's like a creepy fucking ghost town in the middle of Memphis. But you know, beggars can't be choosers. So we were like, all right, fine, we'll take what we can get. We were stupid little kids, didn't know any better. So they took us to Liberty Land. And around that time, I had just got a really cute little girlfriend, man. She just started coming to the church, and since I was one of the leaders of the youth group, she was into me and shit. And I was about 13 or 14 at this time, dorky little Christian teen kids. I wasn't doing well with the ladies. I needed any fucking help I could get. And this girl was cute as shit, so I was really happy to have her company. So anyway, the church rents a minivan to take us to Liberty Land, and the preacher drives the minivan while his wife follows us in their car. And of course, I'm sitting in the back of the minivan with my little girlfriend. I got her arm around her, and she's got her little head on my chest, and it's all cute and shit, as harmless as it can fucking possibly be. So then the preacher pulls over to the side of the road and fucking yells at us, says, oh hell no, this isn't gonna be a date. This trip is to glorify Jesus Christ. And if you're tired, little girl, and you need to lay down, then you get out of this van and you'll lay down with my wife back in her car by yourself. So they made this girl get out of the van with me, go lay down with the preacher's wife in her car, and fucking cock-block me like a motherfucker. And then later that night, they had this girl staying in their hotel room, and they made her break up with me. I shit you fucking not, man. The preacher's wife and the fucking preacher told my girlfriend and they're fucking breaking up with me. You motherfuckers. I like that girl, man. What the fuck's the deal, yo? That was some uncool shit, man. That was a fucking uncool shit. You know, thinking back to my church, man, they did some really cold-blooded shit. They weren't fucking pious or of Jesus or godlike at all, man. They were just normal dipshits like every fucking body else. But once you're free from all that shit, dudes, it becomes so obvious that it was just a cult the entire time you were involved in a cult. In fact, once you see it, you can't unsee it. It doesn't take any genius-level IQ to figure out or any of that shit. All it takes is the very basics of logic.